What's up, folks? Addy Ads here, YouTube's chosen one. I'm here with Dave Underdown, Detroit Dave, and we are at the corner of 12 Mile Road and Woodward Avenue. Some beautiful fall colors in the background there, and the National Shrine of the Little Flower Basilica is right behind us here, Dave. The founding priest.
Not the founding priest, I don't think. I don't believe. The
Uh,
famous priest.
oh, okay. I thought I read founding priest.
Oh, maybe he was. Sorry.
Father Coughlin?
Coughlin.
Coughlin. Okay. I know there's different pronunciations for it, but he was a Catholic priest, right?
Correct.
And he had one of, if not the most popular radio following for a Catholic priest ever, with I think millions tuning in the 1930s, and he actually got basically shut down by FDR because of his radio show. He was being kind of critical at FDR, even though at first he was supportive of him.
Right.
But yeah, this is kind of your stomping ground here, Dave.
Yeah, it's we're in Royal Oak, Michigan here, which is right between Birmingham and Bloomfield Hills, where I grew up, and then Detroit, where we're having all the election controversy at Cobo. But I wanted to bring Addy here because this we're learning about Detroit history and kind of the key characters, and this National Shrine of the Little Flower is a historical landmark for Detroit. As Addy said, we had Father Coughlin, who was doing his radio broadcast through WWJ, which was the big radio station in Detroit. He was an extremely controversial figure because he was closely aligned with Henry Ford, and as people remember, Henry Ford wrote the International Jew, was a book written by Ford.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of history of Ford as far as his business dealings with the Nazi Germany, with I.G. Farben, with his partnerships with the Rockefellers, with the Brown Brothers Harriman, with like the Harrimans and the Bushes, Union Bank. All those characters are all part of our history. But the reason why this was important was because he was he was using radio, which was sort of a new medium at that point, and was spreading this message to a large group of people. So actually, Roosevelt sent JFK's dad, Joe Kennedy, here with Frank Murphy, who in Detroit, the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice is sort of our city-county building. It's the Coleman Young, city-county building, but it's the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice. So again, another historical Detroit character here.
And Father Coughlin, he was very supportive of Joe Kennedy Sr. He was.
So you have to remember. So Joe Kennedy Sr. was the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission during the financial collapse of the Depression. Okay, so Coughlin was, I think, initially supportive of using silver as our backing our currency. He was also very critical of the New Deal and the sort of the socialistic kind of concepts that were being used then. People have to remember that in the 30s that we'd gone through our the 20s was sort of the roaring 20s. Then we had sort of had our fun, and then we paid our price with the Depression. And the way that FDR was going to help us to get out of this depression was by building up industry, building up war industry for World War II, and we were going to basically spend our way out of this depression using government contracts with industrialists.
And this sanctuary here, or basilica, or rather, is under the Archdiocese of Detroit, under the Roman or Catholic Church, or the Catholic Church rather, and it's one of the largest owners of property worldwide, which is something that, even though it's kind of obvious in retrospect, it's something you don't really think about. But we're at about 5 minutes here, folks. So just talking about this is called the National Shrine of the Little Flower Basilica, Catholic shrine. Father Coughlin or Coughlin.
Coughlin.
Coughlin,
Mm-hmm.
the famous founding priest with the famous radio show in the 30s.
Yeah. The other character to tie in with this was Cardinal Spellman out of New York, who John O'Loughlin's talked about. He was basically, I think, the most influential, Catholic figure in North America, and he was somebody that was also getting involved in this sort of Henry Ford, Coughlin, FDR, the Vatican. There was all this sort of infighting going on. We were going into World War II, so we obviously had a lot of allies and access at that point. So people were sort of taking sides and figuring out, who they supported. And this was an area in the United States where, there were very different views on sort of the, whether capitalism was the right plan or socialism in terms have been, there's been a lot of information used to shape your opinion of what that word means. Like if I say fascist, you think Mussolini, you think, it's terrorizing the people. But I think that, the way I look at fascism is that fascism is a system where the government has contracts with large corporations or with the military industrial complex, and it's basically corporate or basically governmental contracts is what the fascist system is. Yeah. So, if you take away the mistreatment of everybody, there's not just one system that works. You need to really look at all of them. I'm not suggesting that one is right and one is wrong, but I am saying that the idea of just screaming, capitalism is great and there's no flaws in it, and anybody that has any other opinions on how to organize people in society there's something wrong with them. Yeah. I think that's very unfair and very limited thinking, and I think it's a huge problem that we all suffer from.
Yeah, so just wanted to do a quick update here. I'm here with Detroit Dave at the corner of Woodward Avenue and 12th Mile Road here in Royal Oak.
I just want to do just
Michigan.
One. Yeah.
We just ate at the Breakfast Club here with a friend of ours. It's actually just right over there. Breakfast Club. Well, there's the IHOP. Breakfast Club's right there. You can see the nice fall colors. But just a quick update here from this National Shrine of the Little Flower Basilica. Yep. Well-known, landmark for the Catholic Church. And we're actually going very shortly here to the TCF Center downtown, and just be on the lookout for that, and more interviews on the way. So that's all here from Royal Oak. It's one of
some Detroit muscle right there. You can feel it.
Yeah.
I just want to say too that just going through history with like the JFK stuff, a lot of the Iran Contra, all these groups, I really do think they start here, and I think the characters you need to look at Stalin's 5 and 10 year plans. You have that history of this American industrialist that had a relationship with Nazi Germany during World War II, but he also had a relationship with Russia, doing the buildup of Russia through Albert Kahn. And then, of course, you have Henry Ford II, who is partnered with Max Fisher and the Mega Group through Aurora Oil Company. So you always have this confusion. This is something that I struggled with growing up, was the idea of the anti-Semitism with the Jewish people was always confusing because, there were always these old partnerships that I sort of knew about from the schools I went to, where people were really family friends and stuff. Yet, if you, take in a lot of the public information about these rivalries between these different groups, it never really made as much sense to me. But I think if you want to really get to the core of the relationship, when we talk about Havari Agreement and stuff like that, I think you look at Henry Ford. I think you look at Havari. I think you look at Father Coughlin. I think you look at the
Cardinal Marcinkus.
See, I need, we need to do we need to do a show with John, because like I am very weak in my Catholic history, which is I know so important with all the Gladio and the Stay Behind Army stuff. But the other landmark we're sort of near here is Keith Ellison, who's famous for being the first Muslim to put his hand on the Quran to be sworn into office. he actually went to U of D, which is up at 6 Mile Road here in Woodward, which is a Jesuit school affiliated with Sacred Heart. And, so that was always something for me that really struck me as an odd change to go from this, Jesuit, long time Detroit Jesuit school that, great school, great families come from there, to go to this Muslim icon, in Minnesota. Always was a strange connection for me. I never could put it together. But again, he's a character in our story now that we're studying. And, again, Detroit roots. There's a lot of history with Detroit. And I think that people watching this can use these Detroit old connections to put together a lot of the history of the last 100 years, really, honestly.
So this has been a Minuteman Minute from the National Shrine of the Little Flower Basilica in Royal Oaks, Michigan. Going downtown at the TCF Center shortly. Stay frosty, folks. This has been Ads and Detroit Dave.